Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a story of just absolute, unbelievable physical endurance and resilience in the dirt track racing world. We're talking about Central Pennsylvania sprint car star Anthony Macri. Man, this guy has faced a staggering amount of adversity recently, but he just keeps fighting his way back to the track. If you really want to see what true grit looks like in motorsports, well, you're in the right place. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. 3. Just 3. That number represents a pretty stark, tough reality for Macri right now, because his recent wreck marks his third major injury-related incident in under a single year. You guys know how it is in the sport. The margins are literal razor thin. The physical demands are insane. So suffering 3 heavy setbacks in such a tight window, that takes a massive, massive toll on a driver's body and mind.
Section 1. The Knoxville Raceway Crash. So, setting the scene, we're at Sunday's Captain Classic event at Knoxville Raceway, obviously one of the absolute most famous dirt track venues in the country. Right on the initial start of the 4th heat race, absolute chaos erupts. Macri, the 27-year-old out of Dillsburg, PA, collides heavily with fellow driver Bertie Walken. And the force, plus the angle of this hit, it was vicious. It sent Macri's sprint car violently flipping right into the outside retaining wall. You know sprint car action. Everything happens in a fraction of a second. And this was just a really heavy, terrifying wreck right at the drop of the green flag. Because it was such a heavy crash, the action on the track came to an immediate halt. Red flag right away. Safety crews at Knoxville were just incredibly fast getting to the scene, tending to him while the rest of the field was stopped. Macri had to be carefully evaluated on site and then was quickly transported to a local hospital for a full medical workup to see exactly what they were dealing with. Part 2. Current injuries and condition. Now, what's really interesting here is just looking at the sheer physical punishment his body has taken in such a highly condensed time frame. On Sunday, Macri suffered a broken clavicle, his collarbone, along with a bruised lung. But man, look at what he was literally just recovering from. Back in April, in that nasty crash at Williams Grove Speedway, he sustained compression fractures in his T4 and T5 vertebrae. He is taking massive bone-breaking impacts to completely different parts of his upper body just months apart. But here's where the human element really shines through. By Monday morning, his team put out an update to confirm those injuries, but they explicitly noted that Macri is, quote, in some pain, but doing well and in good spirits, which is just incredible, right? It really humanizes the breaking news. It's such a wild contrast between the violent mechanical destruction of that wreck on Sunday and his surprisingly positive, resilient mindset the very next morning. Section 3. A history of setbacks. Let's move to and see how this builds across a super rapid, honestly exhausting timeline. So in April, he suffers those devastated T4 and T5 fractures at Williams Grove. He misses nearly 7 weeks of racing, finally returns in late June. And look, he doesn't just come back to turn laps and shake the rust off. He comes back and absolutely dominates. Over the summer, he scores 5 impressive wins, including snagging his second Kings Royal title at Eldor Speedway. And then, right in the middle of this huge triumphant comeback, Sunday's Knoxville crash happens. It's just a staggering roller coaster of brutal injury, followed by pure track dominance, and then another sudden setback. 8. And let me tell you, that dominance was not a fluke. Before Sunday's crash, Macri had already racked up an incredible 8 wins on the season. 8 victories against highly competitive sprint car fields. And remember, he did that while having missed nearly 7 full weeks of action, recovering from a broken back. It's wild. It just goes to show exactly the caliber of driver we're dealing with here. Part 4. The road to recovery. Right now, the team hasn't set any kind of formal timeline for his return. Broken collarbones and bruised lungs need serious monitoring. You really can't rush that. But the main takeaway here is that even without a strict medical timetable for jumping back in the seat, Macri is staying incredibly positive. His mental focus is totally dialed in, and all his energy is currently channeled strictly into getting his body right. So, this wild story of resilience leaves us with one massive question to wrap up our explainer. With the prestigious Knoxville Nationals looming right around the corner, can Anthony Macri maintain this intense focus, heal up, and make yet another historic comeback in time for the biggest event of the year? Honestly, if his track record this season tells us anything, you absolutely cannot count him out. Thanks for hanging out with me to explore this awesome display of motorsport resilience, guys. We'll definitely be keeping a close eye on his next move.